we spend about $10 million a year on food. And so for us, that would be $2.5 million that we're putting into Ontario business owners' pockets. We do more like, when we did our first assessment the first year, we were already doing 40%. And we've grown since then. I haven't even gotten too many receipts to go through. I'll have to do that over the winter, but I don't even know where we're at right now. But I know we were at 40 when we did the initial assessment. Same with beverage. Oceanwise, do you guys know what that is? Everyone? Yeah? No, yes. It's a little killer whale logo that you find on a package of fish. Tells you if it's been sustainably caught. I don't want to go too far into that. I'm sure you could talk about that another time, but it's about just choosing fish. When we say fish is sustainably caught, what do we mean? I think in a nutshell, it means you're not wiping out, you're not dredging the ocean floor. You're not destroying a whole bunch of marine life just to get your fish. You're not catching, like in some cases, like look at that stat right there. That bothers me. It's 4 out of every 10 fish that are caught are bycatch. So what does that mean? It's not the desired fish. It'll just be killed and thrown over, right? It's wasted. It's wasted life. So if you use sustainable fishing methods, like footwell and cod that we promote and sell, those are hand line caught. Those are one by one pulled out of the water, alive by a fisherman, and put on ice right away.
Without a fishing rod too, they're actually
they're using their hands with a line. Like that's literally what they do. It's not a massive net. I don't know if you guys are aware of these commercial fishing outfits. I mean, they can be at sea for a month at a time. They can have they have helicopters landing on them. They're like aircraft carriers. They come in and they're just processing. I don't even know the numbers, the tonnage per day of fish that they take out, and how much of that. Like I said, if up to 40% of that or more is bycatch, it's just getting destroyed needlessly. Anyways, make good choices. Oceanwise is one of them. Food waste. We mentioned earlier that we do something unique with food waste. Most places, what do with food waste? Any ideas? No? Like trimmings from food, like the peeling of a butternut squash, you can't eat that. So what are you going to do with them?
Either like compost or just throw it in the garbage.
That's right. Most places, unfortunately, a lot of places still throw it in the garbage. Compost is a decent alternative, right? And for many years, that's what we did. But even compost, I mean, in our scale of operation, those big bins that you have for garbage, those big wheelie bin things, we'd have like 20 of those going out every day on a truck. Driven to where? I don't know. How much gas is being burned to drive it there? How much methane is being produced as a compost, which is a greenhouse gas. Right? So this machine we installed about a year ago, I guess. Yeah. It's called the Orca. It looks like a giant ice machine. Ours is like 2 or 3 times as wide as that one. But anyways, it's got living enzymes inside. That basically it's a giant stomach. That's what it is. So anything that's not edible to us, the Orca will eat it. That's what we say, feed the Orca. So we throw in there all the peelings, trimmings, stuff that can't be used. Even stuff like oyster shells, it'll eat. Fish bones, that kind of stuff. After you've made your stock, of course. Don't waste anything. But it all goes in there, and this thing, all that comes out is gray water, which is nutrient-rich water that comes out and away it goes. So there's no transportation other than our dishwasher hauling it down in a cart to the loading dock. That's it. So pretty good maneuver there. The gardens we have, I should mention, we're not trying to deceive anyone with our gardens. There's no way that our gardens and what they are, but probably if you were to condense all of our cedar boxes, our planters, they'd probably fill this room. But that would probably, I'm not trying to deceive anyone to say that we use that food to supply the restaurant, because that amount of food would probably be gone in the summer in about 2 hours in the restaurant would be gone. So the amount of stuff you can grow. So, but why are we doing it? They want to beautify the area anyways. They were going to just plant flowers and stuff, and I said, hey, can we not just plant some vegetables and some fruits and stuff like that? and at least let it be kind of an educational thing. You know, people are walking by, and maybe they'll get the idea. I mean, for one thing, we walk by, we eat all the time. We eat strawberries and raspberries.
We go up there.
We give them away.
We try and
you know.
give them away to people, and people either refuse or they don't know what to do. Like literally, we've got tomato plants and a giant basil bush, and we're sitting here, and
people were so
they don't know
worried
what to do.
when I did it. When I
They
first
can't
did it, people were so worried. Aren't you afraid like people are just going to come and like hack it all down and take it? I said, no. I want them to. If they do, they do. Like at least someone gets to enjoy it, and we, you know, it's done something. But the opposite is true. People are almost like reverent of it, right? They walk by, oh, it's beautiful, but they don't even recognize it as food. It's kind of weird. But we grow all these things, and it's just to show people that this is what you can grow here. You know, at your home, you could grow all these things. We have apple trees, we have cherry trees, we skip around here, sorry, and all kind of berries and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Sourcing. So we talked about we don't use the big boys and girls in terms of suppliers. So I just threw up some logos here. These are some of the just from our current menu alone. These are some of the people that we're dealing with on our current menu. You know, Sleggers. Thanks to Sleggers and the New Farm, all of our lettuce, and I should say one that didn't make it on there is Greenbelt microbreeds as well. All Ontario, and all of our lettuces for the whole year are Ontario. It might not sound like a big deal to you guys, but for me as a chef, it's a huge deal. And just to be able to do that. You know how cold it is here in Canada in the winter, and still, in the dead of, you know, in January, I'm serving all Ontario produce lettuce in our restaurant, in our volumes. You know, when we write our summer menu, I meet with the New Farms, Gil and Brent. I meet with them in January for our May launch of our menu. So I have to be really prepared. You know, I have to have my menu done in January because I have to meet with them because they have to buy seeds based on what I put on the menu. That's how much we order. You know, if we have a small place, or if we wanted to be lazy, it'd be so easy for me to do my job. I could just make the menu the day before we launch, do no planning, and just call up Cisco and say, I need 20 cases of romaine. I don't care where it's from. And it would just come the next day, no problem. Most guests, would they care? I don't know. But we care and we want to do the right thing. So, like I said, we do the homework, we do the groundwork, we do the pre-work, and we make it happen. And we are reaping rewards from that. You know, guests are enjoying the food more. Our staff, even ourselves, we get to eat better, which is good. It's all nutrient, and we have the satisfaction of knowing a lot of our money is going right back into our local economy. Food Day Canada, this is part of the event. We served some of these little, I had 5 chefs, 4 guest chefs plus myself, one from the West Coast, one from the East Coast, one from Ottawa, one from here, and then myself doing little food stations. We gave away 2,500 portions of food. I just asked the chefs, make a little tapa type thing that represents Canada food, Canadian food to you. What do you want to serve? And all Canadian was the only kind of stipulation. And we just want to promote and said, why? What are you doing? Are you charging people? What are you doing? No, we're just going to give it away. We're just going to talk about and educate, enlighten people. What is Food Day Canada? Why should we care? Just an awareness, right? So we did that. That was on the 4th of August. That was a lot of fun. Cameron helped out. I think Cameron even got the tweezers out that day. We put him to work back in his cooking roots a little bit, so it was a fun day. And Anita Stewart, who right here, the University of Guelph's food laureate, she came and spent the day with us as well. It was kind of cool. We got Patrick McMurray, the world champion oyster shucker. He Ferris from the Delta Toronto, is originally from BC. Mark Lepin of the Talier Restaurant in Ottawa, and Murray McDonald, who was the founding opening chef of the Fort Island Inn. I think it's you, Lenny. Thank you.
I think you'll kind of notice from John that he has the passion of the environment. So I think our approaches are, he looks at the environmental cost and then the financial. And I totally come at it from a different point of view. I look at the financial, but how do we make it make sense in the green world? with wine, where this is where I first got struck by it, that we were doing the wine pairings for our future menu, and the gentleman came up to me and said, okay, I think I've secured our Chardonnay by the glass for the winter menu. What do you think? It's $18 or whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. We're like, tell me, it's like it's French wine we always get. I'm gonna order 3 skids and that'll get us through the winter. And I'm in my, we're ordering 3 skids, and we live just down the street from
See
fantastic
Niagara.
wine.
You can see Niagara.
You can literally see
from
Niagara.
where from the tower.
And we came back to him and look, just humor me, find something in Ontario. It's like, can't be done. Not for the price we're looking for, can't be done. Well, just humor me. And it took 2 days. And he came back and said, okay, try this. And we're happy to be with our director at the time. I'm like, okay. I'm like, cool, this is good. Tell me about it. He's like, Niagara. Perfect. Because $18 a bottle. Okay, it's a little pricey for what I'm looking for, but okay. Well, if we buy 100 cases, they'll give it to us for 12. I'm like, oh, Jesus, like buy 150 cases, buy 200 cases. And he's like, yeah, they only make 100. And that was the light bulb going off. That we're able to, as a business decision, look at, like I was a farmer essentially, right? He's growing grapes. We are able to give him, buy his entire crop so that he can spend the rest of the year making a better product for next year and making sure that he's following the practices that we're looking for, as opposed to worrying about marketing, worrying about sales, worrying about delivery. We are giving him the opportunity to be financially sound and keep making great products. And that's kind of where I was coming from in what we're doing. From there, we went through one winter cycle, and Canadian wine did great. People were buying it; they loved it. So into May, we moved with John's menu. We pair every dish on the menu with a wine. So we made the move. We paired absolutely everything with an Ontario wine, and again, sales are fantastic. We've been asked to participate with the LCBO in September on a wine month. What their ask is, to even be considered, is to have one Ontario wine by the glass and have 25 bottles on your list. And it's a little bit of pride for us to be able to go back to them and say, that's what you're asking
Kind
for.
of a joke to us, actually.
Well, yeah.
That's a go local.
That's just for
right?
participation.
One local wine.
For Toronto restaurants. And like, how can you not have at least that?
Yeah.
So we have 22 Ontario wines by the glass and 120 bottles. When you look at our revenue on wine, again, that's our summer number. So in 3 months, for wine that people will not buy, that everyone knows that people will not buy, we sold over $1 million. Oh, sorry, I'm telling you why. We sold $1 million of wine. 800,000 of that is Ontario BQA. And finding these numbers for this presentation, I gotta admit, I was blown away. My assumption was, we sell a lot of Ontario. I figured we'd probably sell 30 to 35%. I asked our sommelier his thoughts, and he's a very smart guy. He said the same answer as me. And we asked our director, and he came in at 40. So we're at about 70% of what we do is Ontario wine. And again, find another restaurant that does the volumes we do, that actually believes in the product enough that that's what we're selling. So that all translates to about 13,000 bottles of Ontario BQA wine. And for us, it's that entire concept of we're giving back. We are showing the growers of Ontario that we believe in them, and we want to invest in what they're doing. So the picture we have on the side here, it's all about relationships. I literally went into a restaurant to bug a friend of mine to hopefully get some free food and drink, and he told me, he's like, look, I don't have time for you. Just go sit at the bar. There's a wine rep over there. You guys can talk and bug each other instead of bugging me. And I was sitting down. He was a rep from Megalomaniac, And within a month, he and I had struck a deal that we hauled our bosses in to kind of give them where we're going. And the next thing, John, our director, and myself, we're down in Niagara meeting with these guys, tasting through their portfolios, but we're also tasting wine. We got to create our own blend for what we think the public will want. We create our own blend, which is only available at the tower, and we sell boatloads of this stuff. And again, it's financially, it's fantastic for us, but we're also making a massive difference in another wine company in Niagara and investing. Which takes to the next thing, I get to play with beer, which is a lot of fun. I went to my boss. I'd only been there for 3 months, and kind of went up to I had this idea that we're going to get rid of Labatt and Bolson. I'm thinking, see how my job security goes. That's fun. And his reaction was, okay, why are you telling me? Fair enough. So we put it into practice. We're going to do a 6-month run over the winter to see how we went. And I'll be very honest, it was not a success. And as I'm scratching my head about it, my boss is telling me, no, it didn't work, but it's the right idea. Keep going. We'll give it one more cycle. And now our revenues are insane.
You know what it was too, I think? Our staff as well didn't buy into it.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
And it's so important. Like, you know, like Cam said, we have 40-year veterans in the service, and these guys, they were almost ready to stage a protest when Cam made this decision.
I did get a grievance on it.
Yeah, see, but you know,
Yeah.
you can't do this. Like, Stella's our #1 seller. Like, it's my go-to. I sell Stella to everybody. Everyone loves Stella. But you can't take that off the menu. There's no way. It's not going to work.
Yeah, a
So you're
brainwave
kind
for
of
you
fighting
guys
that
in the
mindset,
industry,
right?
Taking the #1 seller off the list, which isn't the normal way that people go into business, but it's panned out. We're at the rate of, say, we ended up getting our own label again. This summer we're going through 100 cases a week, just of that one beer, for a project that was destined to be a failure and couldn't be a success. Which again throws us at booze.
We should probably
Start
just
going
leave
faster.
a little bit of room for
Okay.
questions. Yeah, sorry.
We ended up trying to find a way to use that same philosophy on our liquor. So our liquor list, the base liquor everywhere is Canadian based. It has to be Canadian based or it doesn't go on the list. I'll keep going faster. So here's our problem. You guys have seen a bunch of the stuff we do, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Nobody knows about it at all. Originally, when Bruce and I were talking about what we want to do, he said, "Well, there's a few things you have on your website about it." And I think my answer was, "No kidding, I didn't even know that." And going on the website, there's a few things about the tower, but there's nothing about what hospitality department does. And I'd said that to our marketing department, and their response was, "No kidding, you guys do that stuff." So nobody knows, and no one can find out, even if they want to. We realize that we're terrible at this. One of my favorites is eggs. John got a letter from a group all about free-range eggs. Here's all the reasons why you should be doing this. Da, 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 da.
Cage-free.
Yeah, and our response was, "Oh, yeah."
We had already been doing it for over a year.
Thanks.
This angry letter.
When straws became a huge issue this summer, we'd converted over, and we said, "Can we tell people about this?" And from our legal department was, "Let's not get involved in the conversation." And that's where we kind of are trying to figure things out. John is involved in a couple of outreach programs that suddenly the towers got wind of that we weren't really kind of telling them we were doing, and now they're excited about it, and they want to find a way to tell this story. So this is the problem. How do we communicate our accomplishments? I also kind of pinned John out and make him take
He
pictures.
takes the worst out of me and then he puts them on Instagram. It's his life.
So how do we communicate our accomplishments? How do we do it, and to who? And who do we communicate to? That's the question that we have for you. We do all these amazing things and nobody knows. And that goes from the public and our guests don't know to people in our industry have no idea what we're able to accomplish. How do we help set the tone and move the conversation to how do we become increase sustainability throughout the restaurant industry?
Yeah, and that's why it's important, right? Because it's not for us to brag, you know, like that's not the point. But we realize that we have to, because if we do, then it'll inspire others to do it. That's our goal. And if we try to
More than just your restaurant.
well, we're hoping that these other, especially like the larger scale industries out there, I think a lot of small restaurants are doing this. You know, by itself, to say, you know, we're in a restaurant and we're doing local food, that's nothing new. It's not a big front page story. Lots of restaurants do it, especially small restaurants. But it's easier for them to do it, and when they do it, they don't have a large impact, actually, on the economy, unfortunately. It's worth doing still, I'm not saying it isn't. But I think if we can inspire those other big places, like the places where I worked over the years, the hotels, if some of these chefs that are still out there are saying to their people, it can't be done. And then we're out there and you guys help us get this message out. We're out there, we are that size and we are doing it, it can be done. And this is how, then maybe they'll want to do it too. Break through that, so that's fun, yeah.
But we have some time for a couple of questions.
So my first question, just how often do you change the menu then? I know you said like a summer and a winter menu. Is it twice or 4 times a year?
In our case, twice a year. I know a lot of places will say they do it seasonally. In Canada, as you know, there are only 2 seasons. What's the first day of winter? January 22nd or 21st? What new is coming on the market at that time? To launch a new menu. Nothing, just stuff that was in your cellars since the fall harvest, let's be honest.
And when we change menus, we change everything. So that's John's, the menus on all levels of there's 5 different restaurants, all the beverage menus, everything in the tower, the entire menus getting over.
And also, like I said, we have to start for May after in January. Like it's a process. We have 250 staff, we train them, we give them all full recipe books, full packages. So there's a lot of pre-work that goes in. It probably takes 2 or 3 months just to get a menu done. So
I'm gonna try to be direct and not sound too sharp. Why? Like, what's the purpose? Why do you want to communicate your accomplishments to the world? Is it?
I look at it from a financial point of view. We're gonna get more business.
Okay, how much more business are you looking for?
You see the crazy numbers that we do in the summer.
Yep.
That is the summer. There is a lineup. You'll wait 2.5 hours just to get into the tower in July and August. On Labor Day, you can walk in, and it still sounds like crazy numbers, but what we're doing during the summer, we would do 850 lunches, 1,000 dinners, 7 days a week. In the winter, well, we're only doing 400 lunches and 800 dinners. I have space. That when we need to appeal to the local community, we need to appeal to, because the tourists aren't in Toronto in summer.
that's businessman Cam's answer, though, right?
Yeah, no,
He wants to make money. And I'm with him. I want to
He
make
can
money
give a
too.
green answer.
But like I said before, I want to inspire others to do the same thing. We want to help dispel some of those myths that it can't be done on a large scale. That's why I want the message out there. We both want the message out there for both reasons.
Okay.
What are your current social media efforts then?
You're the master of
It
social
took us
media.
2 years before the company finally succumbed and allowed us to have an Instagram account, which is carefully monitored by
A lot of
the director
meetings,
of marketing.
a lot of bureaucracy just to get that to happen.
Yeah, so we essentially that's the CN Tower has Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Realistically, the people that we looked at is the people that go on those want to look at a picture of a tall building, or they want to look out from a tall building. We looked at it as let's pretend that we're an independent restaurant. That we kind of put down the law that we're not going to show any pictures of the view. We're going to show pictures of food and drink, of what happens in a restaurant. We want to be considered a restaurant. Like, we're under no illusions. We know we're in the CN Tower, but we want to be considered a restaurant as opposed to a place you can look out from. So we have Instagram. That's it.
How many school tours do you do?
Lots. I don't know how many, but organized through our marketing department. There's every day there's.
Sorry, let me
Oh,
be more
us
specific.
coming out.
No, how many school tours do you do going through the CN Tower, in specifically your kitchen, your restaurant, your accomplishments? Explaining.
No, we don't do that.
Okay.
There's some
There's
school
an opportunity.
tours,
We
but
do.
don't tell them
We
about.
do. Yeah, they do. We do tours. People come and tour the kitchen a little bit briefly, and then they go and they tour the restaurant briefly. And we do.
But we don't talk to them.
Yeah, Cam and I don't know.
It's our guest services are giving them a tour of the tower.
It's like a geography class going to
Yeah, 100%.
Canada.
But they're not getting. Yeah, like you said.
It's not about.
To your point,
2018.
they're not learning about our accomplishments or
They're not in
efforts.
home ec and
No.
they went to a farm and now they're going to go to the CN Tower because they're interconnected.
No.
Gotcha.
Write that down. We're gonna hand them something that says, "Look at what we're doing."
And sorry,
Wait, that's your homework.
One last question. So how do you communicate your accomplishment? Can you give me how, like, is it short term? Is it long term? Do you want instantaneous? Do you want your sales to double by next year, which is maybe extremely unrealistic?
Yeah.
Or,
It's a long-term game.
It's a long-term game, so plus 3 to 5 years.
We report to people, so
Yeah.
they want to see changes now. But the reality is, we understand that the marketing aspect of it is a movement, and it takes time to get that groundswell going. And once it gets going, you're not going to stop it, but it takes time to get going.
And you have to kick out the old BS that people still believe from 25 years ago, like Cam and I said earlier. They still think we're cooking stuff in the basement, sending it up an elevator. So you gotta kick out the old image and bring in this new image, and that takes time.
Time for one more question, maybe two.
With something more immediate, have you guys thought about like teaming up with the Clé d'Or Canada, which are like concierge services in hotels? Then that
Yeah.
like
We have a partnership with, and again, it's through relationships. I know a couple of them fairly well, and so we do have some play where we say, if you guys call us, doesn't matter what's going on, you get a table for what you're looking for when you're looking for it, and try to capitalize on those. We make the efforts to go to the Royal York and the Deltas and put menus in
We
there.
hosted their national dinner,
Yeah.
and 2 years ago we were there, whatever, Golden Plate or
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, we have a good relationship.
because like typically when I see them refer restaurants out, like not really do I hear like the CN Tower or like anything that like you guys have presented today. Like it seems like that information isn't really out there, so it's like how would you better that relationship with the Clé d'Or so that they can endorse you in that
We're not
sense?
cool. I don't think we've ever been on a top 10 hot list in Toronto. And even I look at the suppliers that John puts up there, I look at them and I know all the cool restaurants in Toronto use those same guys. And those suppliers totally talk it up that, oh yeah, we're in this place, we're in this place. Considering the volume of money we spend keeping these guys, we keep a lot of these guys in business. But we're not the cool ones that help build their brand. And we never change that conversation.
One more? Any who call?
I think also one quick caveat there. I think we're hesitant to recommend in the summer people to come to us because we're so stupid busy already. And they want people to have a great experience. So, if they know people are looking for a high end, we are that. But it's 1,000 people in there. It's not quiet. It's not intimate, right? But we are. That's one of our challenges. Is like, how do you build the business in the off season, knowing that it's a whole different animal than the summer? Right? How do you do that? You don't want to build business in the summer. There's no room for them. You're just going to disappoint people. You're going to create a desire that you can't fill in the summer.
Real quick, Colin.
So mine's kind of separate, but like, what does your clientele look like? Is it a lot of people from the Toronto area? Like, it being a high tourist area, is it mostly international people that come to the restaurant, or do you know?
The summer is insanely tourist driven, and that goes from people from out of town or your aunt is visiting you and you're bringing them in. As soon as we hit Labor Day, so between Labor Day around to Victoria Day, we probably do more proposals and anniversaries than anyone on the planet, it feels like. If you're an executive somewhere and
There's a meme right now going around about the guy
yeah,
proposing.
that's right. But if you're an executive and you're bringing in foreign people, it's an easy way to see the city. So we get lots of foreign business. We get you get the romantic dinners. We're so big that we get everything. So it's tough to market it, but your summer experience is very different than your winter experience.
You get a lot of locals in the sense that when they have visitors,
Yeah.
they'll want to bring them up, right?
Yeah,
As
your
well. So
family
you're kind
of
of getting,
people are coming to visit.
even at the same table, could be a kind of half and half local tourists, right?
All right, give me 1 minute here before you start packing up. Obviously, I want to thank you guys for coming in and giving us your time, sharing with us a really relevant, topical, real issue that we're going to do our best in trying to come up with some ideas for you. But I also want to thank you, and I didn't really recognize this before your presentation, but just the inspiration of bucking the trend and saying, you know what, we can do it. You know, we can change, right? Like just try, fail. You know, things like that are lessons that you won't necessarily get out of the textbook, but these are the real lessons of business and successful business and the business of the future. So just sharing your attitude, your leadership, innovation in the industry, it's inspiring. So thank you for that. And we will try to maybe get a day where I'm down there where we can get a little visit with these guys. Stay posted. I have to talk to John and Cam about that. We'll also, if we have any questions specific to the tower, don't email or try to contact them. We'll come up with it in class, and I'll send them a quick note and say we have a question about this and that. For your homework this weekend, work on your assignment 1. Get that done. Tuesday for class here, come into class with a fresh outlook, and we're going to digest what the hell happened today. There's a lot of moving parts, and we're going to come up, okay, what's the question? Really, what is the question? And how are we going to attack this over the next month? And thank you to our guests. This was amazing.